Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Bouncing Back with Brighton. In today's episode we are going to play slightly through the January transfer window and play the first two games in that window. We'll skip past the FA Cup third round because that's not really that important at this point, but we will play Southampton and Newcastle in the Premier League, which will take us to around the midpoint in the January transfer window, and in the next episode we will complete the January transfer window. But without further ado, let's go check out the fixtures that we've been played since the last time we met. Honestly, things haven't went too well since we got defeated by Manchester United. We followed that up with a 2-0 home defeat against Everton. Maximiliano Gomez gave them the lead in the 17th minute. Harry Wilson own goal in the 45th. And despite us dominating the match stats, we didn't really create anything. And it was just a really poor performance, but it wasn't the worst one. This was by far and away the worst performance of the season, without a shadow of a doubt. Burnley, I think they are still actually bottom of the table. And we went away from home and got absolutely smashed 4-0. It was quite a dull first half, but the second half came and they just absolutely destroyed us. And it was maybe the sort of sign of the quality of our squad. You know, we've been overperforming pretty much all season. This might have been a major overcorrection. And 4-0 against bottom of the league is just poor. But we did bounce back in the next game against Bristol City. We won this one 3-0. Harry Wilson with the double, Roberto Alvarado with the further one. Our wingers again really are digging us out of this sort of rough patch. And we did absolutely dominate this game and deserved the 3 points. So in terms of the Premier League, we currently sit in 8th position on 30 points. 4 points away from European positions, but I think that's something we're going to have to forget about for this season and just rely on finishing mid-table, exactly where the chairman and the board expect us to finish. But we are at the 1st of January and it has opened, and we have completed the signing of, what was his name again? Marko Bulat, the Croatian central midfielder who will come in as maybe even a first choice central midfielder. With Gravenberch moving up, I haven't really decided yet what I'm going to do with this. He is classed as a wonder kid. £6 million we paid. He seems like he's going to be a really good player, so we'll just have to give him game time and see how he develops. Now, in terms of the rest of the January transfer window, our board have increased our budget to £49 million, with £400,000 pretty much per week available in the wage budget, so we can pretty much do whatever we like in terms of recruitment. And guess who I want again? I want Josh Tymon. I really do. He's wanted currently by, I think it's Manchester City and Watford. I think if we were to sign him at £16.5 million, he's English. He would provide needed competition at that left-back role. We could sell Alex Martinez and would have 2 incredibly competent left-backs, both vying for that first choice spot. So that is one of the easier options we could go for during this window. But in terms of other areas where I think we could use with a further strengthening, I think centre-back is definitely one of them. I think we've got 2 competent centre-backs in terms of our first choice ones, but beyond that, I think we're struggling a little bit for quality in depth. Right-back is definitely one of the key areas where I think we are weakest, but I haven't really been able to see anybody who takes me fancy, basically. So it's an area I am looking at, but again, it might not happen this window. Defensive midfield, I think we're okay now with the Bulat signing, and central midfield, again, he covers both positions there. Attacking midfield, we're going to probably end up playing Gravenberch now with Bulat joining. And we've got Alexis McAllister and Jack Grealish currently still at the club, who I will be looking to sell during this window. Right wing, we've got Harry Wilson. Again, I've spoken about this before, how I don't like to make loan players my first choice and give them all the game time. So if I can sign somebody there, I probably would. Left wing, Alvarado's really, really good there. Izquierdo's back up again. It sort of depends who pops up. And striker, I think we're currently covered with Romoli and Jovalic. But there is something we're going to have to keep an eye out on for the rest of the season. It is Leeds' progress. I really want them to get relegated because I'm interested in a couple of their English young talent. Jamie Shackleton is the first, a central midfielder. He looks incredibly well-rounded already, if not really technically, but he's definitely more of a playmaker than he is for anything else. But with Leeds still being in the Premier League, it is highly unlikely that I'm going to be able to get him unless they get relegated, and he has a relegation release fee of £32 million. The other one is Jack Clark, a right winger, 20 years old. He's worth 18 million. He currently we would have to pay 56 to get him. He doesn't have a relegation release fee, but I'm hoping if they were to get relegated, he would kick up enough of a fuss to the point where they would accept a highly diminished fee. So for today's video, we are going to face Southampton and Newcastle, and I will come back if there is any transfer business to talk about. So we have made an offer and it has been accepted for Josh Tymon. We've offered him a contract and Man City have come in as well, so he has a decision to make. I have made him quite an outrageous offer, seeing as though Manchester City have went in £70,000 per week, which is a lot of money for us. But I think tying down a young English talent like Josh Tymon will be key for us going forward. If he is to go to Man City, it's not the end of the world because we do have Reguilón, who could be our left back for years to come. But I would like to get Tymon in the club. So we've just played Watford in the FA Cup third round and managed to win 2-0. Dejan Joveljic from the penalty spot inside 6 minutes, who did start up top over Romoli. Romoli actually ended up coming on the left-hand side and got a goal in the 80th minute to secure the victory. So I have been on the hunt for some young regens to potentially sign, and I think this one might be my first, even if it ends up costing us around £3.5 million. Mark van der Ven from PSV, a centre-half who looks pretty well rounded for only a 17 years old, 2-star current, 5-star potential. I think we will end up making an offer for him. We'll stick him in our under 23s or under 18s, get him long game time out the same way. Oh, that's actually another thing. We'll quickly check on Mike Lacey's progress as well whilst we are here in terms of our loan players. He is the main one. Mike Lacey's played 11 games, 1 goal, 3 assists for Portsmouth in League One. He has improved his current ability rating to 2.5 star, which now suggests he's currently operating at the Sky Bet Championship level, but I'm a little bit sceptical of that. I did put in the clause to be able to recall him, just in case he improved quite rapidly, and I wanted him to play at a higher level. But I think I'm happy to see him playing regular League One football for pretty much the rest of this season. So another one coming through the scouting, Julio Mena from Real Hispalas. £250,000. He doesn't exactly look like the kind of striker I would want to play, but at 250k, I think it will be stupid not to sign him. So we really are, if you take a look at my under 18s now, there's basically nobody in it. So I'm really looking to bolster the youth squads that I have got to be able to just have regens coming through quite regularly. He's another one here potentially, Esteban Pereira. He looks really good actually. For £700,000, I think he's another one who might just have to come into the club. He's only got 4-star potential, but you can imagine a 4-star would be a very, very good Premier League centre-back, you know, so getting him in the van as well would be not too bad bit of business. A 2.5-star, 4-star centre-back, really well-rounded physicals, which is obviously the sort of player I look for. We'll have another flick through here whilst I am still live. Doesn't look like there's too many other options that I might want to sign. A Dutch promising winger, Raymond Newman, potentially available for around 1.8. He doesn't look that great to me, actually. At least his current ability doesn't look great at 2-star. No, I'm not interested. So I think I've probably found my third choice / competing for the first choice spot. Centre-back, Cesar Montes, another Mexican, and you'll remember him. I did have him at West Ham. I think he ended up going to Chelsea in the latter stages of that series, but getting a player in like him quite early on, he's still only 23 years old with a bit of potential to grow. If we can sign him for around £13.5 million, I think that would be a good fee for Montes. He is only listed as a 4-star, so not much potential to grow. But I think even with his attributes the way they are now, it greatly improves the strength and depth that we have got. Unfortunately for us, PSG have now went in for Cesar Montes. So we've signed 3 players for the future. Hernandez is the one I didn't show you. Johan Hernandez. He's coming in for compensation at the end of his contract. He was a 2.5 to 4-star potential player, and for the cost of 35 grand with additional £60,000 in clauses, so £100,000 altogether. He'll be a welcome addition to the squad. Pereira, £600,000 there. Is that Mexican again? Colombian centre back. And Van der Ven, £3.5 million, the biggest outlay so far. I think he will become a very, very top quality centre back in the future. And the other youngster, Julio Mena, the striker for 250k. Again, he's not one I'm particularly fond of in terms of his play style, whether that would fit us or not. But I'm glad to get him into the club. Despite offering Josh Tymon a lot of money, he has decided to go to Manchester City, which is a little bit of a kick in the teeth. And you can imagine Cesar Montes would probably choose PSG over us as well. Kind of puts a little bit of a spanner in the works in terms of our January transfer business. So to end the transfer madness, we are going to play Southampton away from home in today's first game of the episode. Looks like they'll be playing a very attacking formation with them being at home, so shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. In terms of how we are going to set up, I'm not too sure about this. So we're going to have Gravenberch in the attacking midfield role. We will get Tudor Balut in the defensive midfield role. The new signing Bulat in at central midfield. And I think that's how we're going to play today's game. Harry Wilson returns after an injury. Alvarado Romoli. Defence is pretty much the same with Bogle starting out right back. So let's get into today's game. They actually have signed Lucas Moura, 28 years old now, still an absolutely fantastic player. He hasn't actually played that much for them, surprisingly, so we'll have to be careful of that. And let's kick off. Thinking about it now, Lucas Moura is probably a new signing in the January transfer window for Southampton, after not playing very many games for Spurs. As we kick off, shooting from right to left in this first half. And Bogle gets himself injured within 4 minutes. And unfortunately, I think Martin Montoya is also injured. So we have no right back. Leo Ostergaard is the only one who could potentially play there, but not convincingly whatsoever. We'll stick him as a full back. That is severely weakened our side, and this is why I really need to improve the strength and depth of the squad. First highlight of the game is 15 minutes in, and Redmond plays the ball in. Butland claims. We'll see what goes on from here. Wilson gives the ball away sloppily in the midfield to James Ward-Prowse, and Southampton come forward with Andros Townsend. Back to Ward-Prowse. Rolls. Redmond's on the edges. He's going to take the strike. He's not. He finds Lucas Moura in the box, and we just knew it was coming. Lucas Moura, he is a very talented player. We looked at his stats, and he's very, very good. And he's put Southampton 1-0 up inside 15 minutes. This all came from us giving away possession in midfield, whilst the rest of our team was still sitting quite deep as well. So we didn't press them up the pitch enough, and Lucas Moura with a tidy finish makes it 1-0. James Ward-Prowse with a free kick for Southampton. The ball's played in, it's cleared by us. And that was the strangest highlight I've ever seen. Highlight now, 35 minutes in. Harry Wilson with a free kick. Gravenberch's back post. He gets his 4th goal of the season in one of the few games he's playing in the attack and midfield role. And Harry Wilson with a free kick specialist again. We do not need Anthony Knottyard. Gravenberch does very, very well to drift past his man and times his finish to perfection to beat the keeper and get us level. And that's half time. Southampton 1, Brighton 1. We'll not make any changes just yet. It's not going too badly. An away point wouldn't be the end of the world, although I would like us to at least look threatening against Southampton. Another highlight, another set piece by us. Harry Wilson plays it in. It's cleared by Townsend, and Ward-Prowse can set away Redmond on the counter. This could be devastating. Lucas Moura down the right-hand side after the switch of play. Back to Townsend, and there's his first goal of the season, the same as Lucas Moura. And he puts Southampton 2-1 up. Another corner goal and another counter by the opposition. It really is starting to become a little bit of a problem. I might have to look up my corner tactic and maybe set some players to stay back. Another corner by us. Harry Wilson to play it in once again. Romoli's back post and he hits the post. 67 minutes in now, and there is another highlight. Danny Ings plays through Townsend in the box. That was a foul. Are you kidding me? That was not a foul. Come on, ref. Use your noggin. VAR, rule that out, please. That was... not Leo Ostergaard as well. Please, no foul. And he's went and give the penalty. John Moss, you are on my hit list and no longer. However, Football Manager, I didn't need to see him run back to give the penalty. However, just get on with it. Danny Ings steps up, puts Southampton 3-1 up. I think it's fair to say we're struggling in the Premier League right now. We're in a little bit of a slump. We did obviously beat Bristol City 3-0 only the previous game in the Premier League, but the other 2 games before that were big defeats, and it looks like we're falling to another one in today's episode. So we'll look to make some changes. Harry Wilson can stay on. Tudor Balut can come off for Bissouma. We haven't really got much options in terms of the bench. I would like to get Alexis McAllister on for Gravenberch to just save his legs as well and give McAllister the game time. Another highlight now. Ostergaard on the right hand side plays the ball in. Bulat's there. Manages to find Romoli, and with 13 minutes to go, you never know, we could get back into this game, potentially pinch a point. It was well played in by Ostergaard, to be honest, and he definitely does not have that in his locker according to his attributes. but he's just managed to do it. And Bulat with an assist on his debut. 10th goal of the season for Romoli. We've gone attacking. Let's see if we can make it matter. 7 minutes to go of regular time, and there is a highlight with Southampton quite deep. But they've managed to keep possession well, and Andros Townsend comes forward. He plays through Danny Ings. Oh, it's all a bit too easy. All a bit too easy. I need Cesar Montes to shore up this defence, I think. But that makes it 4-2 Southampton. 4 goals conceded. We're not watching this. We're skipping it. Poor performance across the board from the defence. Really, really poor. Poor performance from a couple of our attackers as well. Alvarado's a little bit of a surprise. Corner to end today's game, and it looks like it's going to be cleared by Southampton, and that will probably be all she wrote. Southampton 4, Brighton 2. A highly disappointing performance. Let's just forget about this and get to the Newcastle game. Chelsea have now came in for Cesar Montes, which pretty much rules us out as a potential destination for him, I would imagine. So we're back for today's game against Newcastle. For the lineup for today, we have got a lot of injuries going into this game, and unfortunately it looks like Souttar is going to be the man who plays in that right back role, as Bogle and Montoya are both injured, which just strengthens the need for me to go out and sign a right back. But we're not going to have that today. Jack Butland in goal, Souttar at right back, Alvarez and Cabezas at centre back with the Julian as our left back, Baluta and Bulat in the centre with Harry Wilson, Gravenberch, Alvarado in the attacking midfield roles with Romoli leading the line. Newcastle come at us with what is this? 3-4-3 DM wide. Kurzawa, Bernardo, Oliver Skip, Isaac Hayden, Baker, Kipra, Lascelles, Dubravka, Ryan Fraser, Mattia Vargas, who I really wanted to sign at one point but was never going to happen. Lucardia, our old man, still leading the line for Newcastle. How's he been getting on since he signed for them? Not great. £25 million was a robbery, but we're not in good form at the minute, so I shouldn't be saying these things about players. But we'll kick off anyway, shooting from left to right in this first half. We are at home. I am expecting a much better performance than we did against Southampton. Let's see how we get on. Early highlight 2 minutes in, and we all know corners can be devastating for us, but also against us. It looks like we've managed to retain possession, though. Harry Wilson again with the ball out wide. He plays it in. Romoli's front post, and there's no suggestion of offside, or is there? He's going over. It's VAR. Come on, ref. You screwed us over last game with VAR. Please be nice this time. Give Romoli the goal. It was well worked by Harry Wilson as well. Is he going to give it? He has given it. He's awarded the goal. His 11th goal of the season. Another assist to Harry Wilson's name. It was well played by Alvarez to set him away on that right hand side. He beats his man, gets the ball in, and Romoli does the rest. There's a highlight straight from kickoff, which always worries me just so slightly. Cabezas is on the pitch. We all know he can be a little bit of a liability when he's in possession, but hopefully we can build something here. Not Bulat. Alvarado sets away Julian on the left hand side, and Romoli, another front post goal. Is this one going to go down as a VAR? It is not, and we go 2-0 up. Romoli is really coming into his own right now. Alvarado sets Julian, nice pass away down the left hand side, a great cross as well from our left back, and Romoli beats Dubravka again at the near post, and we go 2-0 up inside 4 minutes. 23 minutes in now, and Virgilion is going on a wander in the centre of the park, which isn't what I want to say. Souttar down the right hand side finds Bulat on the edge of the box, and what a strike and what a first goal that is for our new signing Marco Bulat in the centre of midfield, doing the business and puts us 3-0 up. It's a little bit surprising to see Souttar this far up the pitch and on this side of it, but a deflected cross ends up finding its way to Bulat, and that is an absolute beautiful strike. Souttar has been accredited with that assist, which is a little bit surprising and a very fortunate, but I'll take it. 5 minutes to go before half time. There is another highlight, and it's Souttar once again involved in the build-up play to Romoli. Get in the centre, mate. What are you doing out wide? That's not what you're meant to be doing. Souttar overlapping from Harry Wilson, tries to find Wilson again, but he gives the ball away, and it's not a red card. Wilson keeps it in play. Bulat again. This boy might be a little bit special. His second goal of the game, his second goal for Brighton, and his second absolutely beautiful strike. This is a foul. This is just a foul. Challenge from behind, but Wilson gets himself another assist, and Bulat, that in the other corner, that is just beautiful. Looks like there's going to be another highlight before half-time. Harry Wilson with the ball back post. It's cleared. Only as far as Boulat. Go on, get your hat-trick. Nearly another one. Nearly. There we are, half-time. Brighton 4, Newcastle 0. This is the kind of performance we've been needing for quite a while. Another highlight only 3 minutes after the half-time break. Is it going to be a Newcastle attack finally? It looks like it could potentially be Ryan Fraser on the right-hand side. Skip with a lovely through ball to Mattia Vargas. Goes for goal, but it goes just wide. 53 minutes in now, corner by Harry Wilson. Romoli's back post this time, but he could not get his header on target. Only 20 minutes or so to go. I will look to make some changes. Harry Wilson struggling out there. We'll get Jack Grealish on that right-hand side. Marco Boulat I'm going to keep on because he's on his hat-trick. Tudor Baluta will get off for Makudi. And Alexis McAllister will get on for Gravenberch. 10 minutes to go and there is another highlight. Alvarado with the ball in the centre. Tries to find Romoli, who was also on his hat-trick, but unfortunately he could not do it. Alvarado pinches possession from Newcastle in the midfield. We'll give the ball away again, but Dubravka gives the ball away to Romoli, and it's happened again. I mean, this doesn't usually happen for me. The opposition goalkeepers don't usually act so stupidly in the same season at the very least. But it's happened again. This is the point. Clear it. Clear it. Clear it. Another challenge from behind. Probably another foul, but we'll take it. And Romoli gets his first hat-trick for the club. His 13th goal of the season. And at 21 or 20 years old, that is fantastic. Right, I've just had some issues at the end of that game. Somebody came to the door. The game continued to play, even though I tried to pause it before I went down. And the game finished. And I've just recorded the whole ending section. And I hadn't pressed record. So we're doing it again. John Southampton got a goal in the 86th minute. It's the only goal you missed. We'll quickly load up the highlight because it was a goal that is worth watching. Our centre-back, who was playing at right-back for this game. It all comes from a Newcastle corner. Jack Butland ends up clearing it to Reguilon, who comes down the left-hand side, just drives forward completely unchallenged. He ends up finding Boulat, who finds John Southampton, who an absolutely wonder strike. Our third fantastic goal of the game. Made it 6-0, and that's how things finished. In terms of the Premier League, that sees us lying in 8th position on 33 points. 4 points away from Leicester City in 6th in the European qualification spots. But we are sort of leading the pack in terms of the mid-table clubs, which is nice to see. Looking forward to the next episode. It will be the final 2 games against West Ham and Spurs of the January transfer period. I know we haven't been too fortunate with it so far, but hopefully we'll be able to identify some targets and get them in to see us through the second half and the rest of this season. If you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, and if you are enjoying my content, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.